We're like almost 3 months in, and I realized I have not done a 2018 art goals thingy type of thing. So for my 2018 art goals, I had to actually like really sit down and think about what I really wanted to do, because some of it is not exactly realistic. Like, for instance, the very first thing I thought of is it would be really great if I could do like some type of art every single day. And while that's realistic for some people and not that big of a deal, it's not really realistic for me, because I did that during Inktober and I was so burnt out afterwards. I think I didn't do anything all of November. Most of December I did like 2 really crappy things. And then finally in January, I think, is when I produced something I actually liked again. So we're not gonna do art every single day as a goal for me, because that didn't work out so well in October. So I thought I'd do something a little bit more realistic. And since I already do videos twice a week, that means I definitely have to do 2 things a week. So I thought I'd do 4 things a week, just double it. So that way it's not too much. It's only 7 days a week, so I'd be doing 4 out of the 7 days I would be doing something. Or even if it's not 4 days, I at least want to produce something 4 times in a week, because my Instagram be like dry. I be forgetting to post stuff, or I don't post anything at all because I didn't do anything. So we're gonna try to liven it up a little bit and do a little bit more. So another goal I wanted to do was branching out into different mediums, or maybe going back to some old mediums that I used to really love that I stopped using for some reason. When I was in high school, I really liked colored pencils. Like Prismacolor colored pencils was one of my absolute favorite things to use. And I really liked working with acrylics as well, not together, separately. So I would do colored pencil drawings, and then I'd do acrylic paintings. And I loved working with acrylic, and I loved working with colored pencils. And then I guess I branched off. I think right out of high school, I really started working with chalk pastels. And because I had equated chalk pastels with oil pastels, and I hate oil pastels, like freaking annoying little crayons. So I had equated chalk pastels with oil pastels, and when I finally started using chalk pastels, I was like, wow, I really love these. So I really liked using chalk pastels, mostly like a grayscale, the black and white pack, and with all the grays inside of it. I never really got into using the colored chalk pastels, but I really did enjoy using the grayscale chalk pastel. So that would be fun to go back into, and that was right out of high school. And the reason why I really liked it is because I would take an illustration board and I would gesso it, so it'd give it a little bit of texture, and then when I put the chalk pastels on top of it, it just held it so wonderfully. And I think right after that, I kind of got a little bit into collaging. I didn't do a lot of it. I think only for a couple of months I was really into collaging, and not like collaging like cutting out a clock and cutting out an eye and putting it together. I would cut out large, like if there was a section in a magazine that had a lot of color on it, I would cut out large strips of those colors, and then I would use just the colors in little tiny strips, and I'd put them together to make a bigger picture, if that makes sense. So I got into that for a very short amount of time, and then I worked my way into ballpoint pen and Sharpie drawing, which is what I stuck with for a very long time. I really liked the way my ballpoint pen and Sharpie drawings turned out. I had a lot of fun doing those. And then after my ballpoint pens, I got into gouache, watercolors, and then into inks. And I kind of still use all of those all together, because really I use them interchangeably. I'll use gouache, watercolors, and ink all together on one painting, and I use them all the same. I use them very watered down. But that's kind of where I am right now. So I think it'd be fun to get into something new, or to go back to some of the older things that I really used to like chalk pastels. Now that I started talking about it, really makes me want to get back into it. Another goal I had was that I wanted to start doing bigger pieces again. I stopped doing bigger pieces when I started doing, I stopped doing bigger pieces in 2016, I think. I started working in smaller sketchbooks. I used to almost exclusively work on 18 by 24 paper. all the time. That was my number one go-to size, which is why I kind of have a hard time fitting things onto my smaller papers now, because I'm so used to drawing so big. So I think it'd be fun to maybe get a little bit back into working on larger paper again, working in a bigger scale. Another goal I have is doing more full body drawings. I almost exclusively only do portraits. I did a full body video, a full body drawing, I think, in my last video, but other than that, I almost exclusively work on on portraits. And I think it'd be fun to get into doing more bodies, especially because I'm not very good at it. So I like to try that. I like to try to do more bodies and get better at it, because my bodies be all over the place, not anatomically correct. Another goal I have for 2018 is I definitely want to have an art show. I remember when I was younger, I used to think that art shows were like this exclusive thing that someone would sponsor you for, and you'd have to get into these crazy galleries. And then I think like 2 years ago, my friend threw his own art show, and I was like, why have I never thought of that? I can just throw my own art show. Like, it's not that hard. I mean, it's hard, but it's not like this crazy big thing that I thought it was. So I would really like to just have my own art show. And the final goal I have is I would really, really like to at least start looking into or figuring out a way to write and illustrate my own bestiary. If you've seen my Inktober videos, I really, really love lore and legend and anything in between. So I would really love to write and illustrate my own bestiary. And that's been a thought in my mind for a little while now, but I would really like to get into it. So that is all my 2018 goals, my art goals. This video is late, but who cares? I did it. And bye. I'll see you on Monday.